Amidst the chaos of a bustling market where hundreds of people rush by every day, something extraordinary was about to happen. A girl in a yellow dress stopped before an abandoned, thin, and dirty golden retriever. Their eyes met in a moment that would change both their lives forever. What began as a simple act of compassion would transform into an unexpected journey, revealing that this rejected dog held a special gift that no one could have imagined.
If you enjoy these types of stories, please like and subscribe to the channel to help me bring you more stories like this. Turn on notifications and comment below what you thought. Sophie was only 6 years old, but she possessed an unusual sensitivity for her age. That Saturday morning, while accompanying her mother, Laura, through the busy streets of the municipal market, her eyes caught something that most people completely ignored. Near a pile of discarded cardboard boxes, a golden retriever with golden fur, dirty and matted, lay on the cold ground. Its ribs were visible through its skin, and its brown eyes conveyed a deep sadness that immediately touched the girl's heart. Sophie let go of her mother's hand and walked slowly toward the animal. The dog raised its head with difficulty, watching the child approach. There was no fear in its eyes, only a silent resignation of someone who had lost all hope. The girl crouched down carefully, keeping a respectful distance, and extended her small hand. The dog sniffed the air and, surprisingly, took a hesitant step toward her. Laura noticed her daughter's absence and quickly located her near the abandoned animal. Her first instinct was to push her away, fearing illness or aggressive behavior, but something about the scene made her pause. The connection between Sophie and that dog was palpable, almost magical. The girl looked back with tears in her eyes and whispered in a choked voice that would break any heart, "Mommy, he's alone and hungry. Can we help him, please?" At that moment, Laura knew their lives were about to change completely.
Laura watched the scene with a heavy heart. She knew that bringing an abandoned dog home wouldn't be a simple decision, especially an animal that had clearly suffered severe neglect. But Sophie's pleading look and the golden retriever's deplorable condition touched her deeply. After a few minutes of hesitation, she agreed to at least take him to a veterinarian to assess his health. Sophie hugged her mother gratefully, her eyes shining with renewed hope. Carefully, they managed to convince the dog to follow them to the car. Laura improvised a temporary collar with a scarf and offered it fresh water from her bag. The animal drank desperately, revealing how dehydrated it was. During the drive to the nearest veterinary clinic, Sophie didn't take her eyes off the dog, gently stroking its dirty head while whispering comforting words. "You'll be okay," she repeated with absolute conviction. At the clinic, the veterinarian, Dr. Helena, examined the dog meticulously. Her expressions alternated between concern and indignation as she discovered the signs of prolonged neglect, severe malnutrition, critical dehydration, fleas, ticks, and several infected superficial wounds. "This animal has been completely neglected for months," she explained sadly. "But there's something remarkable here. He still maintains a docile and trusting temperament, which indicates an extraordinary resilient nature. With proper treatment, a balanced diet, and lots of love, he can make a full recovery." Sophie smiled through her tears. She had already decided that this dog would have a name, Sunny, because his golden fur reminded her of sunlight.
The first few days with Sunny at home were challenging, but filled with small victories that filled Sophie's heart with joy. The dog needed medication for infections, special therapeutic baths, and a carefully controlled diet to gradually regain weight without overloading his fragile digestive system. Laura and her husband, Michael, transformed the laundry room into a cozy space for Sunny with a soft bed, warm blankets, and new toys that remained untouched in the first few days. Sophie spent every free minute with Sunny. She read stories aloud to him, even knowing the dog didn't understand the words, but she noticed that her constant presence brought comfort to the traumatized animal. Gradually, Sonny began to respond to the care. His tail wagged for the first time on the third night when Sophie brought his dinner. It was a timid, hesitant movement, but it made the girl cry tears of joy. She ran to tell her parents, who were also moved by the progress. As the weeks passed, Sonny's physical transformation was remarkable. His golden fur began to shine again, his ribs were no longer visible, and his eyes regained that characteristic spark of life of golden retrievers. But something deeper was happening. Sonny developed an unbreakable bond with Sophie, following her throughout the house and always positioning himself close to her. Michael noticed a peculiar behavior. Sonny frequently sniffed the air intensely around Sophie and her older brother, Daniel, 14, as if he were constantly monitoring something invisible to the human eye.
The family's routine had perfectly adapted to Sonny's presence. The dog had become an integral part of their lives, bringing joy and renewing the energy of the house. One morning, while everyone was getting ready for the day, Sonny began to act strangely. He circled Daniel insistently, sniffing his school bag and nudging it with his snout. The teenager, irritated by the dog's persistence, tried to shoo him away several times, but Sonny wouldn't give up. His barking became increasingly loud and desperate, a completely unusual behavior for the normally calm animal. Sophie noticed Sonny's agitation and immediately called her parents. Laura and Michael came running into the room, worried by the insistent barking. Sonny was now standing firmly in front of Daniel, refusing to move, and looking alternately at the boy and his parents, as if trying to communicate something urgent. Daniel began to grow impatient, claiming he would miss the school bus, but when he tried to push Sonny aside, his legs suddenly gave way. The teenager's face turned pale, and beads of sweat began to trickle down his forehead. Michael immediately held his son, while Laura ran to get the glucose meter. Daniel had been a type 1 diabetic since he was 8 years old, but he had always managed his condition well. The device revealed alarming numbers. His blood sugar was dangerously low, at levels that could lead him to a hypoglycemic coma in a matter of minutes. If it weren't for Sonny's desperate insistence, Daniel would have left home without realizing the signs of the crisis that his own body hadn't detected in time. While the teenager received emergency treatment, the family looked at Sonny with a mixture of astonishment and gratitude, realizing that this rescue had been much more than they had imagined.
After the incident that saved Daniel's life, the family was intrigued by Sonny's extraordinary ability. Laura began researching medical alert dogs and discovered that some animals possess the natural ability to detect chemical changes in the human body through their sense of smell. Fascinated by the possibility, she contacted a specialized trainer named Marcus, who worked specifically with medical assistance dogs. When Marcus met Sonny and heard the story, his eyes lit up with immediate recognition. "This dog possesses a rare gift," Marcus explained after observing Sonny for several hours. "Not all dogs can develop this ability, even with intensive training." Sonny not only detected Daniel's hypoglycemia, but persisted until he got his attention. This demonstrates exceptional intelligence and a highly developed protective instinct. With proper training, he could become a certified medical alert dog, capable of saving lives regularly. The family was impressed, and Sophie felt her heart overflow with pride for the friend she had rescued. Training began immediately. Marcus visited the house 3 times a week, teaching Sonny to refine his natural abilities and communicate alerts even more effectively. The dog learned with surprising speed, mastering complex commands in a matter of days. Sophie actively participated in the sessions, further strengthening her bond with Sonny. During training, they discovered that Sonny not only detected changes in Daniel's blood sugar levels, but could also perceive subtle changes in blood pressure and even early signs of anxiety attacks. That abandoned and forgotten dog in a market revealed himself to be a true potential hero with abilities that few of his kind possessed.
News of Sonny's extraordinary abilities spread quickly through the neighborhood and soon reached the ears of the local community. Marcus suggested that the family participate in a community event, raising awareness about service dogs that would be taking place downtown. It would be a perfect opportunity to demonstrate Sonny's potential and inspire others about the importance of rescuing and training abandoned animals. Sophie was thrilled with the idea, though a little nervous about the responsibility of introducing Sonny to so many people. On the day of the event, hundreds of people gathered in the main square. There were informational booths, demonstrations of various types of assistance dogs, and talks on animal welfare. When it was Sonny's turn to demonstrate her skills, Sophie went up onto the makeshift stage with her heart racing. Marcus had prepared a careful presentation simulating controlled situations where Sonny could show how she detected medical changes. The dog executed each command perfectly, impressing the audience with her precision and dedication. But then something unexpected happened. In the middle of the demonstration, Sonny suddenly stopped. His ears perked up and he began sniffing the air intensely. Ignoring Marcus's commands, the dog jumped off the stage and ran straight towards the audience. People recoiled in fright, but Sonny had a clear objective. He stopped in front of an elderly woman sitting in the third row and began barking insistently, placing his front paws in her lap. The woman, confused, tried to gently shoo him away, but Sonny intensified his warnings. Marcus and Sophie rushed to them, and that's when the woman began to feel severely dizzy. Paramedics present at the event acted quickly, discovering that she was experiencing a dangerous drop in blood pressure that could have resulted in fainting and serious injury. Sonny had detected the real emergency and acted on instinct, saving another life in front of hundreds of awestruck witnesses.
The event had an immediate and overwhelming impact. Videos of Sonny saving the woman circulated on social media, accumulating thousands of views in just a few hours. Local newspapers published articles about the hero dog who had been rescued from abandonment and was now saving lives. Sophie's family received dozens of messages of support, interview requests, and even offers from organizations wanting to sponsor Sonny's continued training. But amidst all the celebration, a menacing shadow loomed on the horizon. 3 days after the incident, a disheveled-looking man appeared at the family's door. He identified himself as Richard, claiming to be Sonny's original owner. His tone was aggressive, and his intentions were clear. He wanted the dog back. Laura and Michael were shocked by the claim. Richard stated that he had temporarily left the dog at the market while he dealt with some personal issues and that the family had stolen his property. His words were rehearsed, but his eyes revealed pure greed as he mentioned the newspaper articles about the valuable dog. Sophie, who had been watching everything from inside the house, felt panic take over her body. Sonny immediately noticed the girl's distress and positioned herself protectively beside her, growling softly whenever Richard raised his voice. Michael, remaining calm, explained that they had rescued an abandoned animal in critical condition and that they possessed all the veterinary documentation proving the severe neglect. Richard was not intimidated, threatening to sue the family and involve the authorities. He made it clear that with all the publicity surrounding Sonny, that dog was now worth a lot of money, and he wouldn't give it up easily. The tranquility that had enveloped the family in recent weeks instantly evaporated, replaced by fear and uncertainty about the future.
Richard's threat brought sleepless nights for the entire family. Laura and Michael knew they needed to act quickly to legally protect Sonny. They consulted an animal rights lawyer, Dr. Carvalho, who carefully analyzed the entire situation. The lawyer requested that they gather all possible evidence: photographs of Sonny on the day of the rescue showing her deplorable condition, veterinary records detailing malnutrition and neglect, witness statements from people who saw the abandoned dog at the market for weeks,
and training records documenting the animal's complete transformation. Sophie contributed her own form of evidence. She created an illustrated diary chronicling every moment since Sunny's rescue, including touching drawings of the dog before and after, descriptions of her emotional and physical progress, and heartfelt letters explaining the deep bond they shared. Marcus, the trainer, provided official documentation certifying Sunny's medical alert abilities, and testified in writing that such a level of training would only be possible with dedicated care and unconditional love, elements clearly absent in the animal's previous treatment. Meanwhile, Richard intensified his intimidation tactics. He began appearing near the house at different times, observing from afar and taking photographs. He even approached neighbors, trying to gather information and spread his distorted version of the story. However, the community that had witnessed Sunny's transformation and her heroism in the event was not fooled. The neighbors formed a support network, documenting Richard's suspicious appearances and offering to testify on behalf of the family. The situation was escalating rapidly, and Dr. Carvalho advised them to file a preventative legal action requesting permanent custody of Sunny before Richard took legal action. The hearing date was set, and the family prepared for the most important battle of their lives.
The day of the hearing arrived with a palpable tension in the air. The courtroom was filled with family, supporters, neighbors, Marcus, Dr. Helena, the woman Sunny had saved at the event, and even local reporters interested in the outcome of the story. Richard appeared accompanied by a lawyer, displaying an arrogant and confident demeanor. Sophie held Sunny's leash firmly, her hands trembling slightly, while the dog remained calm and attentive by her side, as if understanding the gravity of the moment. Dr. Carvalho presented the case methodically, displaying shocking photographs of Sunny on the day of her rescue, contrasting them with recent images of the healthy and vibrant dog. Veterinary records were detailed, revealing weeks of severe malnutrition, critical dehydration, and a complete lack of basic care. Marcus testified about Sunny's extraordinary abilities and how only an environment of love and dedication could have allowed such skills to flourish. The elderly lady at the event moved the entire room as she emotionally described how Sunny had saved her life, her tears of gratitude echoing through the courtroom. When it was Richard's turn to present his defense, his contradictions became evident. He possessed no prior veterinary records, no photographs of the dog, and no proof of legitimate ownership. His claims of having temporarily left Sunny crumbled when witnesses confirmed that the dog had been abandoned in the same location for over 2 months. The judge, clearly outraged by Richard's attempt to exploit an animal he had brutally neglected, paused before delivering his decision firmly and clearly. The verdict was unequivocal. Sunny would remain permanently with Sophie's family. The judge declared that Richard had completely abandoned his responsibilities as the animal's guardian, and that the family had demonstrated exceptional care, transforming a traumatized dog into a life-saving hero. Furthermore, the judge ordered an investigation into possible instances of animal abuse by Richard, prohibiting him from owning or caring for any animal in the future. The courtroom erupted in applause as Sophie hugged Sunny, tears of joy streaming down her face. In the following months, the family's life flourished in unimaginable ways. Sunny became an officially certified medical alert dog, accompanying Daniel daily and providing unparalleled security to the diabetic teenager. Her story of transformation inspired the community to create a local rescue and rehabilitation program for abandoned animals, with Sophie serving as a small ambassador for the project. The investigation into Richard revealed a disturbing history of animal neglect, resulting in severe penalties and ensuring that he could never again harm another defenseless being. Sophie, now 7 years old, frequently visited schools and community events alongside Sunny, sharing her story and inspiring other children to show compassion for animals in need. The bond between the girl and the golden retriever grew stronger each day, proving that a simple act of kindness can transform lives in extraordinary ways. That morning at the market, when a little girl's eyes met those of an abandoned dog, had been the beginning of a journey that would change countless lives and prove that every being deserves a second chance to reveal their true essence.